Good morning. Good morning. We're gonna turn that down a little bit. So it's hard to tell what I have going on. I think I have the sound playing on the video. Need to check. Get started here in just a second. Need to make sure that I have sound. Sound playing on the video. Okay, we're good. Just couldn't hear it. So we are going to make a character today from scratch. And like I made one the other day, but this one's gonna try and make it a little more thorough. So we're just gonna start. And so we're gonna make this guy here. If I edit this video, I will put the art, the reference art, in the description somewhere, but you can find something like this on Pinterest. Easy enough. It's just called a turnaround reference art. Line art. But I made this guy with AI. So this is why I made it this way. So I had the front, the side, and the back, so we can set up a little scene to help us to create him. So we're gonna set up the images, and then we're gonna start blocking, and then we're going to start sculpting. But I'm going to describe my method here. It's a little different than most. Like, some people will make a high poly model and then do topology over that. I find that just making a low poly model first and like working up to a high poly model, it's not that it saves time or anything, it's just like you're kind of killing two birds with one stone. It does save time. If you put time into your low poly model, you don't need to do it again, and you can just save a copy. Unless you are making a monster or something that needs like drastic changes, like it shouldn't really matter. Like, the low poly version should be pretty close to whatever you're doing. That being said, like, the face wouldn't be much of the same. But we're gonna try and get that like good. So we're gonna try and make the face all nice too. And so really, the first thing that you want to do is just, you want to push this back a little bit. I like to actually take a square like this and make it about this big. So let's add another cube in the middle, and so everything inside of this square would be our space to design. And so I'm going to take this image and pull it back to like there. Okay. And then I like to just gotta put this guy in the middle, so we're gonna move him to the very middle, and we're gonna leave like a little bit of the left side of his face. So like you can tell it's not perfectly in the middle, and that's because we just want to make sure we get the most that we can out of one side, because we're gonna work from the right side. Okay, and so we need to grab the image. Alright, and I'm going to make a copy. Gonna spin it 90 degrees. And then I'm gonna look at it from the left. Alright, and so I already know this is backwards, so I'm gonna rotate it on the Z-axis 180 and come down to its properties. Okay, and then we do back so I can see it from the back. And I'm gonna move that over to the side. Doesn't have to be perfect. Probably just need to position it to where it's just going through his ear, along the back of his arm there, and the front of his calf, in the middle of his foot. So this is like the middle origin of his body. Let's put it about right there. Middle of his ear, middle origin, center origin, and that'll work fine. So let's see, you gotta move it back to this here. I just like to do that. It gives me mental room. Some people will build with the reference art like in the very middle. I just don't like to do that. I think this is a cleaner version method. So I'm gonna just simply duplicate that. I'm gonna rotate it 180 and move it all the way to the other side of the cube. Alright. And so this is going to be the back picture. Wait, did I mess up? See, I already got confused. I did this. So front, right, left. Yeah, it's fine. So right. This is not the back. This is the right side. So we're going to front. So this is confusing. Like this is the front. For some reason I have... Oh, I copied the wrong image. Okay, well that will be the front then. That's why I was confused. So looking at the back now, looking through the back to the front. And it's good to list these things, but we will. So this is the back, and I didn't need to change it or anything. It's perfectly fine. Okay, so the front, and then we look from the right. I mean the left, because I already did the right side. So we need this guy, and we need to copy it. Sorry this is confusing, but all we're doing is we're just going to get the image on all sides, right? So we have every side of him perfectly where it should be. So this is now so again, like here's the front. I'm looking at the front. So the right is the one I'm working on. You can see that it's messed up. So let's just simply start naming these. So left hand. Alright, because I don't want to confuse myself. So like that's my... Oh wait, no, that's my right. Four scope. So right hand image. And left hand image. And then that's just so I know like where it is and it's not, because like the thing is I'm looking through the right ortho mode, so like this would be the right image, but it's on the left hand side, right? So like that's how I'm gonna remember it. Hey Xavier, or I don't know how to say your name, sorry man. Xer, yes, Xer. It's very cool. Where was I? So, the right-hand side is actually the left-hand side. It's very confusing. Front view. Front view. So this is my... Yikes. When you have all the same images, it gets confusing. So, this would be like my... just call it... Well, I want to name it like the back side. No. Front image. Front. Okay, and then we'll do back, because that's not too confusing to remember. But sometimes the left and right thing get me confused. So this is back. Like, obviously it's the back and the front because you can tell, you know, the image is the front and the back. Oh, hey, Nelson, what's up, man? That's a cool little YouTube name. I didn't know that was you. So last night that was you. Okay, cool. I'm trying to, like, do this a little better, and then I'm gonna clean it up later for a video. Just trying to get my, like, character creation down in a few different ways. I can get comfortable with it again. So this is all set up. So we got the back, the front, the right. Oh wait, I had to fix it. So left-hand image, and we're gonna pull it just right there. Okay, so they're all set to go. I'm gonna grab all of them. Okay, and then put them in a collection named images. Make it red. Okay, and then I'm gonna set up my scene because I'm like that. So extras, make it brown. And then I got another one. Name it workbench. Workbench. And then I like to add another one called studio. I name it, or make it green. I just put like lights and stuff in there. And like, for example, the images can go in there because it's not part of my work, like my actual object. So this will be the call him dude. All right, and dude's gonna have his own file called dude or collection. Dude will be blue, and dude will go in a workbench. And this cube is like just a size cube. If you want to name it and keep it, you can put it in the extras and then hide the extras. Just turn everything off, and that's just like a file you can put stuff in it to knock off the memory and hide it forever. Alright, so basically we're good to go. I feel like I am forgetting something. No. Okay, so here we are. So we have the cube. I don't want to look at that color forever, so I'm gonna call him dude1. And I'll change the color. Oh, I don't like that color either. Dude2. Okay, so we got a purple box. So here we go. So the way we're gonna do this is just going to pull it up, and we're gonna start with this neck area. So just like that. Okay, and neck is gonna extend up further a little bit, and then we're gonna drag this out to the sides. We're gonna add a loop cut here. I'm gonna select that, and we're gonna drag it inwards with scale. Alright, I'm gonna turn my screencast so you guys can see. So there you go, and you can see better. Make it like a bright teal there. And so now it's like we're just gonna continue this. But first, I'm sorry, let's go ahead and cut this in half because we were supposed to mirror it from the beginning and it doesn't really matter, but there's the mirror. Turn clipping on. Alright, and just leave it like that. Turn your cage on over there too. Okay, so now we have the mirror modifier on there, and we can start doing some sculpting. Oh, yeah, I didn't get to finish it. I might finish it later, like just finish it off and do the coloring. But I got the gist of it's done. Like, it's not a perfect video. I'm trying to get better with all that. But yeah, I appreciate that. just have a goal in mind. And so, do like orange again. And so, it's like, yeah, we're gonna go speed through this. I want this to take less than an hour, pretty much. So we're gonna go fast. I'm gonna try and describe everything. We're just gonna drag these parts out until we have all the parts that we desire, and like we're going to drag everything to the edge, okay, and just stay in X-ray mode and drag out to the edges. Simply, okay, right here you're gonna have to make that a box. Okay, and then you have to grab this maybe and extrude. Well, you have to. Okay, so right here is gonna be a little different. So right here, you might have to add a loop cut in. Okay, so we can have that space, and then you can grab that, and then pull down to the knee area, scale it inwards, make the knee area. Okay, all the way down to your ankles. Scale it in. And then we'll worry about the foot later. Gonna add a line for the calf area. Move it over slightly. There you go. Maybe upper calf needs some volume. And then we're gonna make the arms. We're just gonna grab that whole block there and pull it out, and then actually go in here and bevel that downward like that. And well, no, we want to make a T pose, so we're not gonna do that. But we can do that, like just to get a nice little shoulder cuff there, or blade, right? And then now you can. Healthy trick here is take your press T to bring open your menu there, and you're gonna get the ruler and like kind of the center origin of the shoulder blade, drag it down to his wrist, and it's like 1.07. So we're gonna do the same thing. So 1.07 right there. That's where we need to bring the arm out to. So we still have it selected, and you can just simply drag it to that spot, right? Scale it down a little bit, change your tool back with W. Okay, and we're gonna add like this area, oops. We're gonna add just a cut there for the, whatever you call that, the elbow, and slide it up a little bit, because the forearm is, if you want to do some more math, let's do from the origin of the shoulder to the elbow, so that's 0.5, and then from there to here, that's 0.54-ish, 52, so it's almost the same length, to be honest. It's a little bit longer, maybe. I don't think I did that right. Maybe it's like, you know, the elbow, take into consideration the elbow's behind that, and so you'd have like the forearm. So it's about the same. It's literally almost the same. And so we would do like 0.48. What is that right? Yeah, 0.48. 0.9 there. So like this is the middle, right? So that's where this little cut should go, practically. And yeah, so ruler is a good tool to use. There's better measurement add-ons out there, but I never really used it. Okay, so now we did mess this up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we had, I don't know why I did that. Because now I beveled it to, yeah, so we're just gonna like dissolve that edge because we don't need it. Yikes, I should have just made a loop cut there and pulled this up like that instead. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add a side, 2 lines. Gonna grab like the actual shoulder blade line. Okay. And then we're gonna like, oops, did I do that little problem? Yeah, I did. I'm gonna go ahead and by distance, and I got rid of some vertices. So whatever I did with the bevel kind of messed things up. It's okay, we smoothed it out. Then you go in the top mode and you just go along this axis there, do another one. So that's gonna be like that dominant shoulder blade in a little while. If you want to, this is early, but you can kind of bring it down a little bit. Okay, so now we have this basic layout for the torso and the arms. Some people do the feet and the hands separately in terms of like actual separate objects, and then they'll remesh them. But like if you're gonna remesh anyway, you should just attempt to do the whole body. Like I find it's all the same. Like it's like unless you're doing crazy amounts of polygons, like you'll be on ZBrush then. So like Blender can handle what it can handle, and you know, the ironic part about most of the people's workflows is like you have to make a face, right? And then put it on their body and remesh it. So like all your work gets diminished. Unless your head is sticking out of some clothes, like you've just wasted a bunch of time. Yeah. Anyways, so like we're just gonna start by pulling this out now to about here. Right, this will be the hand. And we're gonna spread it open a little bit like that. Right, and then you could add another loop cut and make the 4 fingers. We're gonna try and keep only those loop cuts for a while. And then add like a cut there. Bring this out. Okay. And then we're gonna take this line and we're gonna, you can just manually slide this in. Like don't have to do anything crazy. It's like that. Alright. And then these 2 lines can get pinched. And then scale down with X. And we're gonna grab that part and we're gonna pull it out. Okay. And then like spin it a little bit. Okay. And then you're gonna pull it out again and make it smaller. And that is gonna be the start to our thumb. It's a little big. You could make it smaller to a degree like this and turn it a little bit there. Now it looks like a thumb. Probably more down. Right, but we don't want to get carried away with these minute details in the blocking stage. But it is helpful to get everything closer at all points, at all times. So we like pull that in because it's a weird hand. So get these and maybe slide them over, even that out. Okay. So you have this basic structure, and you want to do like 2 at a time, or you can even like you can cheat here and do like whatever the heck I is. I can't remember anymore. And then we're gonna just grab all this after you scale it in with I on each face, and then just pull them out. Okay. And you can even scale them down a tad. Alright, maybe pull them out a little more. Alright, and then to each one, you just give 2 loop cuts. And then honestly, before you do that, like I said, space them closer, but we actually want to space them out. And the reason for that is like it's just gonna be harder to model them if they're together, and when we remesh, it's not going to be pretty. So finger length is kind of a big deal. So you have your middle finger is I gotta check and see which one that is. Yeah. So the middle finger is always going to be your longest finger unless you're freaky. So it's like gonna be like that. Okay, and then this one would be a little bit longer than your middle finger. I mean, a little bit longer than index finger, or pointer finger, and your pinky is gonna be smaller than everything else by a lot, like there. And usually, like the pinky has this weird little curve to it, like that. It's like a hand toe. Okay, and but we want to add 2 loop cuts. Alright, for each one of these, just add 2 loop cuts, and those will be the joints for each finger later. Now, the front of these can be scaled down a little bit, as we do not have square fingertips. And yeah, so that's good. We'll come back to that. Eventually, these knuckle parts can be like brought up, and then they can also be scaled in with eye, one at a time, and we will just grab these faces by pressing 3, selecting the faces, and pulling up the knuckles like that. Okay. And then for each one of these fingertips, you can go ahead and... It's not how you make nails, but we're gonna like try to define an area that could potentially be nails, right? And so it just kind of locks in the geometry there better for us. You might have to change the... Oh, crap. You can change the global up here for like normal, if this helps you like scale stuff. But it should be fine. Alright, man. Yeah. You have a good one, bro. Yeah, have a good workout. That's a good idea. Should get outside more. Go get some, go get your pre-workout on it. I should go touch some grass today. Alright. I'll talk to you later. I'll get that. I'm gonna start that pagoda too. So, like, I've been working on that after this. So you can like fix that there. Like, it's good to start early with sliding your lines around, because eventually it's going to get chaotic. And like, I guess I haven't been clear on like what I'm like doing all this for, because right now, like, you could, for all sakes and purposes, like add a square on his head. Like, watch, this is okay. I mean, I can make this a separate video, but the cheap way of doing character design is like just make a like Minecraft character, okay, and then like remesh it and sculpt it, and then remesh it and sculpt it, remesh it and sculpt it until you have like a perfect thing. But the problem with that is then you have to retopo that, and like retopoing can be pretty, like, I don't know, it's just not like making this, right? Like, you get to govern how your topology works from the beginning, and like retopo is just rough to me. Like, yeah. But I mean, it's the correct way to do things. But if you get good at blocking from the beginning, like, you can kind of just cut that out. Like that, like you can cut that whole chunk of work out. Unless it's like a really detailed model, then when you like again, you might want to retypo that. Like if there's like a huge difference in your base model versus your final product, then you're gonna have to retypo. And honestly, it might be even faster just to retypo versus this. Like it's not. I'm not saying this is a faster method. I'm saying you can just. Well, I guess I am, but it's not. It's not like a better quality version. I guess it can be. Anyway, so like we're just gonna fix some of those contour lines because when I go to like resubdivide it or subdivide it, I'm not gonna remesh it. Like I'm gonna subdivide it without a modifier. I'm gonna make a copy. I'm gonna subdivide this without a modifier. So I'm subdividing like my own geometry or like my own topology, and not letting Blender destroy it. So that's what this is all about. Like this is what this is. This whole video is about that. So one thing to notice is like there's like a bone here for his hip, right? So you just need to pretty much have like lines that define like what his hip is gonna be like. So this V here, right? This whole V is gonna be like his hips, essentially. Like that. Those are the lines that will define his hips. Okay, and so now you don't have to make a whole nother head and remesh it. Like this is what I'm trying to say. You can just simply pull that up. Okay, a little bit like like this, matches head there, and then pull up the top of his head. Okay, but he does have, right, like his face is coming down. So, front right. That's backwards. So the right, the front. Yes, it's backwards. So we must fix that. No big deal. Spin 180 and front and right. And to line it with this picture, you have to do that, the front, opacity, look through it, grab the other image, pull it back. Alright, go back to this image. You could just leave it like that since it's the same now, but if you want to be nutty about it, you can put it right back to how it was. Okay? But then you have to look through it if you don't do that, so you have to put it back. Good. Okay, so here we are, and now we're on the right side, because we've done everything except for the feet. We can do the feet really quick, actually. Let's do the feet. And we're just gonna, like, actually pull the whole block back to here. And see, now we're working upwards, and we're trying to do the feet. So let's do the feet really quick before we fix all that. Because the feet are in the right spot now. And, whoop. Okay, so obviously this is the ankle, right? And then you're gonna have, like, the start of the foot there. And then you're gonna grab this, and we're going to pull out, and we're going to pull down, or scale down, inward. Okay, extrude again, down, okay, and then extrude again, and that's it. It's gonna be, if it's too pointy like that, you don't want it to be an elf, you can just grab the lines, there, and just scale it out. Okay, and like I said this in another video, but I don't usually do toes because there's like, unless it's a you know, a foot render and not doing toes. Because I have shoes. So there's no point for that. And that's good. So, like that. And we're going to bring out, we're going to actually bring this inward a little bit. And then we're going to bring this phase outward. Okay? And then, like, actually can bring it down. Okay? And then we'll worry about all the details in a minute. You could pinch that in, maybe, just to get it going. Okay, and then we're gonna fix all this. So bring that back. About there. Alright, this is not perfect concept art, so like if you're watching the real video and I'm talking, which I won't be, don't rely solely on the concept art, because so at this point, like, I'm just doing it manually now because it's all gonna be the same. And we look at the front. Okay. And I've already done this like twice actually with this model, so right. So you can see there's minimal damage to what we have done to the front. Bring that back out. That's the neck actually, so we want to bring this out as just the chin for now. Okay, so there. Then we're going to give him more definition on the neck. After we give him a few cuts up here. Okay, and we gotta decide where we want things to go. So this will be the lips. Okay, that part of the nose, this part of the nose, that, and then the forehead. Alright, and so now we need to add a few more grooves, a few more lines. Alright, and don't fret if it's all crazy, because it's supposed to be. In fact, like, we're gonna just get some of these faces on, pull it back. Okay, so it's gonna look like an alien for a minute. It's okay. This face, like, if it's bothering you, like it's bothering me, you can just come over to sculpt mode and buff that out with smooth for like 1 second, and pop back into here. Okay, and now you can kind of see the geometry a little better, what's actually going on. So like we are literally just trying to get it like this. Like it doesn't have to be anything. Like it doesn't. Like we can sculpt from this point if we want to, but I'll show you what I mean. Like I'm gonna do all my blocking from primarily sculpt mode. Okay, so we just want to make sure we got the face down to the chin area, and that's good. So it's good to go. So basically, like, we need to make sure the chest comes out a little bit by just doing this, and then pulling the chest outward to about there. Can pull some of these, pull these verts back about there. Add another line there. And it looks silly right now, it really does. But soon it won't. Okay, just gonna start that area. Alright, and so you have this character that just looks awful. Okay, and drag this out. And I'm gonna maybe slide this down. And then drag this out a little bit. Like again, it does not matter, because we are going to sculpt it. Like we're actually gonna sculpt the blocking, is what I mean. Like this is not gonna be like sculpting with subdivisions or anything. We're gonna sculpt the blocking. Okay, so bring that out, because that's actually where his back is. Just gonna start it there. Okay, so we have like this really horrible semi-blocked out character. Right, okay, and now all we're going to do, maybe fix this. All we are going to do is first save it. Save it first. Save as. I'm going to put on my characters file. Characters. Name it the dude. Alright. So the dude is saved. And I need to go to the restroom. So as we sit here and ponder what our next thing will be to do for this tutorial, I want you to look I want you to look at how closely. I want you to look very closely, okay, at how ugly this model is. Look how ugly he is. Okay, I'll be right back. Very ugly. Okay. We are going to start now. In just a moment. Just remember. Uh, uh, just remember how ugly it is now. Right now. Soon it won't look this way. Very ugly. Okay. Back to work. Now we have our ugly base model here. The fun begins, and we're going to go into sculpting mode, and you're going to come up to your show overlays, and you're going to turn on the geometry and turn down the opacity of the wireframe just a little bit so you can see it still, comprehend what's going on. And now we're going to primarily use the grab tool, okay, and the smooth tool, and we'll use the slide relax sometimes. Okay, so all we're going to do is we're going to use the contours of the art to guide our lines. And we're going to treat all the lines like actual muscles. So like if this was the lat, right, whatever it is, then this here would now represent that. And it's that simple. So the pec here, right, like we're going to start here because this is a curve and this is not a curve. So we can compromise by putting in between both. So all we have to do is add a line here, right, to bring that down to make the curve. And so when we go subdivide that later, it will give it more geometry. Now you have this area here, which is very simple. You just bring it to here, and now that automatically gives us like an area for the armpit. Okay, and so you want to kind of just space it out. Kind of use the middle line as your middle origin for this. Okay, and like kind of copy it on both sides. Alright, so it should be mirrored and doing it on both sides. Alright, if you forgot that step, just go ahead and cut them down the middle on all sides. Just cut them down the middle like this. If you forgot to mirror, boom, and delete one side, add the mirror modifier, and turn on clipping. Okay, so we are looking at this with the grab tool. Alright, and so we're just gonna like kinda look at the model through, like if the arm is causing problems, for me it is, go into edit mode and you just kinda grab everything on the arm, right, like this, with face mode or whatever, just like that, and you can just hide it for a minute. So you can see from the right side what's going on, okay? Without it being in the way. So you can go to sculpt mode and continue. Okay, now I need to drag that over some. And we need to add like a cut there to match these lines. Alright, and I'm going to use another cut there, and we're gonna try and use these lines and straighten them out the best we can. Like we obviously have to leave that there, and can drag this around. Okay, so basically we're trying to make that shape that goes up his back, right? And it's like a muscle that kind of comes around to the back, so we gotta make that shape. So you can see it there. There's the muscle. Comes around the back side. And that's all we're going to do. Pretty much for the whole model. Stuff like that. And pull this inward. So you see there's a strip on his back. This would be the start of that. And to the right, that would be the actual tendon that this connects to. And you can see from the back that it's like a big circle. So all we have to do is look to the back and then kind of put that where it is. It's that simple. Okay. So looking from the back. No, there's the concept art. And he doesn't have any defined muscles there. You can't really see, but there is muscle there. Kind of like the lower part here. There's some at the top. It's just not very good concept art. Could find one with better muscle topology than this one. Okay, like that's very deep, so we're just gonna like drag it out. Nothing confusing. I don't know why it's so concave like that. You can actually like soften it just to get to it, or like just use edit mode and grab them. Grab all of them down to here. Pull it out. Okay, you could do the same for this. Mine's all messed up. Right, and like it's good that I'm not really trying so hard here, because I think most people will have kind of a, most beginners would have kind of a messed up topology at first. Right, and I'm just gonna soften that out, kind of redo it, go back with my grab tool and start pulling it back out. So there's the muscle in the back. So automatically it's already kind of like that. Alright, so basically we just continue like that method throughout the entire model. So let's look at the front again. You can try and make, there his ribs, okay? And so, but he has a couple other things, like there's some muscles here, 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 and here. So we have 4 muscle groups for his abs. So we're gonna bring that up to start his rib cage up there. And we're gonna make that one of those muscle groups. And then we're gonna add a loop cut and basically move this to this muscle group here and here, and then just like that. Okay, need to pull this out again, like on the back. It's just concaved. I don't know why. It's so concave. And just pull it out. Okay. Slide that back in a little bit. And you can just soften this out. Okay, so there you go. And just continue with all that. There's his belly button. Kind of pull that under there. Maybe. It's doing some weird stuff, I'm telling you. The problem is we have our mirror clipping. At this point, like, you can, like, once you get a base figure like this, you can go ahead and turn the mirror off, actually. Because he's mirrored, and we don't really need that. We have the mirror tool for sculpting, which is better for this, because now clipping is not a factor. Like, for example, I was having trouble pulling that out. Now I don't. Alright, that's why I was not able to do the back easily. So you can still keep it on, but it's not really doing anything. It's like, almost like a double mirror factor. So I'm smoothing out the corners. Obviously that's pretty simple to do. Just get the smooth tool, run it along the sharp edges here till it's pretty smoothed out. This is my weight here, not a lot. Okay, simple smooth. Do that to the feet a little bit. Okay, and there you go. So and once you get it to this point, it's pretty self-explanatory. Like, we have like a basic figure. So at this point, you just kind of have to finish it to your own liking till we get to the head area. Just a little different. Okay, and we're just gonna generally do the same thing to the head, but once we get to the face details, it just gets a little different. But we're just working on the main shape at this point. We still have to do the arms. And the fingers. So looks like Spider-Man or Deadpool right now. Pulling this out, and actually that's like the space between his lips, and then this would be like his top lip. So we need another cut. And then, well, we need two more actually, because this will be the space between his lips that we will cut out eventually. Okay, and like that will be the start of his ears, which we also have to do. And so here is his lip. There are his lips. And if you really want, like, you could add another cut for the divot in his chin to be a separate thing. Don't worry about all the loop cuts, because we're going to work with them. And so this is like where we can use our slide, relax. Okay, and just like try and relax some of those lines. It's probably way up. Yeah, way too high. Start at a low factor and just like drag these lines apart, make them more even. Better to do this now. Like, and you can get it kind of like, doesn't have to be perfect, because you can generally get it to the area you're trying to, and then you can smooth this, right? So you're just like pretty much dividing the lines, just relaxing all the distance between all of them. It's essentially what smooth does, but with less, like, it doesn't focus on like changing your actual geometry as much as it changes the, tries to shift the lines around, whereas smooth like directly manipulates the like the see how I can shape with this thing because I'm pushing inwards towards the model, but it's not really what it's meant to be for. Okay, and so once you get it smoothed out a little bit, then like I said, you can come back with the actual smooth modifier or tool and smooth those out even further. Right, so they're actually spaced out completely. It's gonna damage your model a little bit. Like I said, that's what it does. It changes the actual geometry, but it helps you just even things out. You can always drag it back. Okay, and like bring this in for his chin, neck. Okay, good. And we will come back to this in a little bit for the front. Well, let's just do it now here. So, gonna pull that to his chin. But we're gonna do halfway because the concept art is lying. And so this is his chin crease. Okay, and you have his lips there, which will be his lips. Okay, and then the space between the top of his lips, his nose. This should be way up here, actually. So what do we do? Okay. So this just needs to come up, all of it. Lips, space between his lips, start of his nose. Okay, and then we're gonna have to add another loop cut, probably, because that's the tip of his nose, and then that's gonna be like the bridge area. Okay, and we're stretching this way too far. It needs to come back down to here. Which means this all has to come down. It'll be like his eye crest area. So we'll have to relax these vertices again on the side, probably. And it seems like kind of unorthodox, but it's because it is. Like maybe add another cut there. So we'll bring that up to like his eye area. Just gonna box his eyes off. Just like this. Drag this out, like it's not even out to his face. Okay. So that, and then I'm gonna bring this out to his temple. Now we're gonna do that everywhere else. Ah, what the heck? I have some weird, messed up mirror going on. I don't. Oh, cause yeah, it's not mirrored. So we're gonna have to do that really quick for 2 seconds. Just gonna have to turn the mirror on. And this is like why you do need the mirror, honestly. It's just kind of like a hard thing to deal with because the mirror does clipping and merging, so sometimes when you're blocking, it will like eat your work. Like it'll literally just merge stuff. You're like, no, I don't want that. But and the only way to get around it is by like if you ever add geometry like a loop cut, you just gotta kind of just add it later or mirror it every time. I mean, I'm sure you can turn on like mirror mode, and that would. There's probably a mirror mode I don't even know about, to be honest. Like, but yeah, I'm sure there's like really good mirror add-ons, so that's something that you can look at doing. But so there's this cheek. Eventually this will be like his inner eye socket area, and like this will be like his outer eye socket area. Okay. And then this is like the brow area. This is just the center of his nose. Alright, so he's looking like a face already. This weird little part here. I'm gonna move that up. So something like that. So that took a little bit of time to do that. Right? I mean, but that's the name of the game, so this is why the other workflow for like character workflows, kind of the meta way to do things, so to just like make a sculpted, like a really high dense poly object, and then retempo over it. Yeah, so I mean, there's the face, but we're still just like working on the blocking, really. So we can map out the ears like this. Okay, and then you can grab them, and like what I've been doing is extruding, or like doing a whatever that is, I can't remember, and pulling it out. So extrude in with eye, and then you kind of pull out like this little, oops, like pull out a little ear section, right? So the ear is like gonna be connected to, and then you would pull out the actual ear part. Okay, and then you pull it out a little more. Then you come inward a good amount, like that, and then you want to go in with it, alright? And then you actually want to slope in a little bit. Scale it in, okay? And it's actually kind of small, like this little ear is kind of small, so take the whole ear and just like scale it on the Y and on X, and then kind of move that up out of the way. You're gonna rotate this, move it under it, rotate this a little bit, move it under, so it's like a S, more fluid, okay, same here, those around, there. I have this ear shape. I'm gonna add some cuts on the outside of the ear, cuts on this part of the ear, and yeah, that should be good for now. You can also grab the outside part of the ear, since that is going to be what it is. Maybe not this part, since it's like also part of this connecting slope area. Oh wait, 1, 2, 3. We need 3 loop cuts on the inside. Let's think. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Connecting piece. Yeah. Yeah, so 3. And you're gonna just like grab the 2 and grab these 2, and then you can, yep, and then grab all this. Okay, and you can scale it out a little bit. Okay, just like that. You can move it outwards like that. Okay. And on the inside of the ear, you just don't worry about it, because we're gonna sculpt that a little better. But this way, it can be sculpted. Like that can be sculpted now. And now the eyes are tricky. Like, there's many ways to do eyes, but when we do eyes, or when I do eyes, I like to start with like the ball when I'm doing it for sculpting, and then I will like try and rip some vertices across the eye, and then just peel away the face, like in a way, like with a low poly one, like right, like so you're not gonna damage it. Like for example, like when I get a little further and I hash this out, like at some point I can rip the vertices and make like eye folds. That's one way to do it, and then you like build into that with low poly. Like right now would be fine to do that, but I don't want to get ahead of myself because it's still really dicey. Um, but this is, I guess, what I mean. Like you can, like essentially just, uh, like you essentially just delete this. Oops, just this one line. Delete the edge. Okay, and now you have like this eye socket, I guess. And you can just extrude inward. Okay, pretty fur. It's like that. Like what eyes could fit in. Make it bigger. Okay, not so wide. And then you can give it some loop cuts on the inside, like 2. Okay, and then you can just like grid fill this off. Grid fill, so you can press F3, go grid fill. Okay, and then so now you have an eye socket, right? So now like, I mean that wasn't so hard. Like you don't have to wait, but I've only done this like a handful of times in my life, so it's a new learning experience for everybody. Anytime they make characters, that's why I'm even trying to do this more and kind of putting my method out there. So like this would be an eyeball, right? So you can make like the eyeball should be turned on its axis, and then you can use the actual sphere as the eye. That should be like that maybe, and a little more elongated. Okay, and then like this is just a fake eye for now, but we can go ahead and just delete that and delete this. Okay, and then grid fill and grid fill, and then this face. Wait, yeah, this face you can. Oops, you can just extrude it inward a little bit like that. You can add some grooves here if you want, and kind of make them like that. Okay, and now you want to pretty much grab all this. Okay,
and like you can give it some definition, I guess, if you want. It's gonna cause that to happen. So when you do this, just I'm trying to bring it right to the edge. So I guess I will do that. Go into X-ray. Then I'll grab this rim again and pull it out. Or what the heck is that even? Yeah, it's like that. But I want this to be tucked inward, so that's why it was confusing. It's like that. Okay. And it should be pretty close because this is like the iris. Okay. And then you have this, the iris part. Oops, I should probably make that a little bigger. Yeah. We will bring this back. Grab all that and bring it back a little bit. What did I do last time? I guess I just grab a line and make it like this. So something like that. Doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of gonna paint it later. Yeah, it'll be fine. So we're gonna name that I bull. Right. For now, I'll just name it that. Pull this back in there, and so like when we go to make a low poly version, because it's good to have a low poly version, and like if you can make the low poly version without sculpting, oops, and then without doing retopo, like you can work up to a subdivided model, and that's what this, again, like that's what this tutorial is gonna be kind of about, and just wanted to show how like that's possible. Because a lot of people work backwards. It's not that it's backwards, it's just another thing. Um, so like you could try and get inside here, and then you can go into scope mode. Alright, maybe add a few more verts. Oop, gotta select the right object. So the person, the dude, and then edit mode, and you can do like 2 more cuts, like on the side of this thing. And this way we can just kind of round out these edges in here, so it's not a weird square. But we shouldn't really be able to ever see inside of his brain, so I think it will be fine. It's this I'm worried about, and we just kind of soften that until it does come into the size of the eyeball. Okay, so it can be like this. And once you get it to that point, now it all makes sense, right? Uh, so we want to just what am I doing? Oh yes, want to move this upwards. So I can't really see the concept right now. What happened to it? The studio. got hidden. And so there we go. We're just gonna continue to make this thing make sense. That's it. Because Blender users are problem solvers. That's what we are. We are artists, but we are problem solver artists. Okay. So there. Whoops. So immediately, like, you see how easy it is to block out. And I, using like low poly, so there it is. It's not hard. It's just tedious. And I just keep saying this throughout the video because if you're new and watching, then you have to understand, like, I'm only gonna do this because when I subdivide, I'm not gonna use a subdivide modifier. I'm gonna subdivide my own topology, and then I'm gonna smooth that out. So it keeps the topology that I have created. And so there's that. Looks like a robot. He looks sad. He's a sad robot. And pull this down. Gotta pull this down. I don't have to. Actually, it looks fine like that. Looks like a real brow. I might just want to move it over. Okay. And then spread these out. Fixes eye area. Oh, too strong. Okay. Oh, I'm in elastic. That's why I was doing all that. Just got super cold in my room. Let me close my window. One second. So, I hope this is gonna actually be viewed by human beings one day. Maybe not this live stream, but the actual video that I make with this. And I'm not recording again. Almost feel like starting over, but whatever. I need to make like some sort of launch macro that runs everything at once.
Get this Barbie playset for $12.97. These Skull Candy headphones for $49. And so many more amazing deals. It all starts online Wednesday. Shop Walmart Black Friday deals.
muted. Okay, so this is pretty much like a done